Previously on Sister Wives.
We get Robyn on the couch, trying to manipulate Gwen's words, saying that them hurting her is proof that she does care about them. They're never gonna see me as anything other than the bad guy. That's because you are in the plainest sense a Disney villain, Robyn.
Drat! My plans have been spoiled, but I have not been defeated yet. Hubby, on the wall. Who's the most favored one of all?
You, my dear queen, for you are the most loyal and obedient I've ever seen.
Yes, that I am. Hubby, show to me the visions of the wives. 1, 2, and 3.
Christine has brought with her her spawn. No, I'm sure we can get her to mow the lawn. Janelle consorts with traitorous sons. Our relationship with them is done.
Aren't you forgetting someone?
I don't think so.
You're going off script, boy. What about Meri?
She's in Parowan, hawking leggings with her friend, Jeff?
This vexes me so. Hubby, show to me that which I most love to see.
Live from QVC, America's quality cable shopping channel. It's time for ideas to help you look your best.
Yes.
Selected QVC values that will bring out the best in you.
This soothes me.
No one told you that polygamy was bad. You have got no husband, your kids have got no dad. It's like you're always stuck as basement wife when it hasn't been a good week, a month, a year in your whole life. He's not there for you. He's afraid of being poor. He's not there for you like he wasn't there before. He's not there for you. What doesn't he do?
Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Angie, this is my husband Tim, and we are recapping from the inside of one of Christine's Easter eggs.
It's the holiday spirit of spite.
At least for Christine. If I get 5 of these, I'll be able to rake in a ton of money.
Ah, yes.
So, I have nothing for announcements. It was a pretty quiet week.
Good.
Let's get into the episode. Sister Wives, Season 18, Episode 10. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Because of the Easter egg basket.
It could also be in reference to Janelle and Meri's situation, where Janelle has all her equity placed in Robyn and Cody, who I don't think are going to take care of her in the end.
No, I think that's highly unlikely.
And then we have Meri, who is putting all her eggs in terms of spending time with children to justify being with Cody, which is a bad trade-off. I'm sorry, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
The episode opens with some establishing shots of wild deer and someone else's chickens. I guess the hens were included to clue us in that Easter is upon us, because obviously Robyn doesn't own any pets or animals.
She's got some plants, apparently.
Yeah, I don't think she knew what she was doing when she was trimming them.
We can get to that later. I have thoughts.
Janelle and Savannah have gone up to Utah to spend the holiday with Christine's part of the family. As we hear of these two sister wives' plans, Cody doesn't miss a step to inform us that he is superior to these two heathens.
Yeah.
He makes it clear that he isn't into these pagan holidays because, unlike his disloyal wives, he and Robyn celebrate Resurrection Sunday, aka not Easter Sunday.
The pretentiousness is overwhelming.
Way to celebrate the same holiday while simultaneously patting yourself on the back, even though they're the same thing, Cody. One of these disloyal wives speaks out. Christine is busy stuffing a bunch of plastic eggs with cash and candy, which I was concerned because some of that candy wasn't in wrappers, so don't do that. Money is very dirty. As she does this, she imparts that Easter hasn't been celebrated within their family for many years, since Cody forbade it. It was much too ungodly for the very religious patriarch.
Cody likes to pick and choose which aspects of his religion he follows, which is ironic for them being part of such a high-control religion.
Authoritarian religious groups don't take kindly to the members that look at their tenets like a buffet, where they just pick and choose. Cody explains why he forewent this stereotypically Christian holiday. It's because he was talking with other people who gave their interpretation of Easter's origins. This feedback completely won him over, so he decided to replace it with Passover. So the people I'm assuming that made up Cody's exposure were members of this new cult he converted to, or some other group of friends? Because we were raised Mormon, and Mormons celebrate Easter, but it seems that Christine celebrated Easter even before she met Cody, and she's polygamy royalty, so this might not be related to his upbringing or the new faith he adopted.
It seems to me that Cody is deciding to run his family like his own church, with his own doctrine and his own traditions based on his own ego.
Yeah, Church of Cody, or what's a better name for that?
The Church of Cody Brown and Latter-day Pligs. I don't know. What would the tenets be? Oh my goodness. Thou shalt have no gods before Cody.
Thou shalt not take the name of Robyn in vain.
Yeah, that's probably the kind of thing they are.
Because I feel that a lot of the reasons Cody started a polygamous family is so he could
create his own micro-cult?
Yes. The very devout man said that they should be commemorating Passover instead. Okay, so I'll just point this out. Most holidays are pagan in origin. We have Christmas, which is based on the Roman holiday Saturnalia. We have Valentine's Day, which is based on the Ides of February, a pagan holiday that worships some Roman god of fertility. And obviously we have Halloween, which is based on a Celtic pagan festival, and Cody celebrates all of those. Again, this guy is consistent in that he has always picked and choose based on his preferences and not some sort of moral code or doctrine.
There certainly doesn't seem to be any sort of overlying methodology or system to how he picks and chooses. It's just whatever suits his fancy.
Picking favorites has always been a natural part of Cody's life. Janelle expounds on their AUB doctrine. Their polygamous church was never explicit about how holidays should be observed. For Cody to be so nitpicky in terms of adhering to a set of imaginary rules is laughable.
Janelle was one of the people that was anti-Easter, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was team Easter is a pagan holiday. That obviously didn't stick because she's celebrating it now.
I don't know. It still seems pedantic at best.
Yeah. Cody then says something controversial. He tells us that in order for him to be more in line with God, he decided to celebrate Passover as a way to remember Jesus' resurrection. I thought Passover was meant to remember God's deliverance of the Hebrews out of Egypt.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, but you could say that because Passover includes the slaying of the lamb and painting the blood over the threshold of your house could be symbolic of the death of Christ and his resurrection and stuff. But that's not what most people think when they say celebrate Passover. Passover is an extremely meticulous holiday. You have to have this thing called, is it pronounced Seder?
Yes.
And during this, there's this whole thing where you're not allowed to eat, and then you have to do this call and response thing when eating the different foods that are symbolic of the different plagues and the preparing of the food for leaving Egypt and all these things. And you know that Cody isn't interested in any of that.
I think they visited the Richardsons and they tried to do a Passover Seder. I don't know how closely the foods they cooked or the customs they practiced during that was in line with Orthodox Passovers. Cody might
do all those things, but it's highly unlikely because
He's Cody. Cody can't do anything right.
Cody might be celebrating it because of the Last Supper.
Yeah, but the Bible is chock full of Hebrew holidays that Christians don't care about.
Like what?
Okay, there's a lot of them. So according to Jewish law, every 7 years, you have to take what's called a sabbatical. That's where you have to take the entire year of doing no work.
Ooh.
And then if you get 7 of those in a row, which would be your 49th year, then you have to absolutely effing nothing for an entire year.
Oh my gosh, that explains Kody and Robyn are on a sabbatical.
Yes, every year. That's because that's how religious they are. There's tons of them. There are dozens of holidays in the Old Testament that everybody just kind of completely ignores. It definitely feels to me like Cody has a very surface level understanding of Christianity, Judaism, probably his own religion. But honestly, that's true for almost everybody. I would say that most Mormons barely know about 15% of what technically their religion is.
Yeah, because we already know how desperately Cody loves cosplaying as a Jewish person.
I can say 2 or 3 blessings in Hebrew, that's all.
Sweet. Let's hear it.
A friend of mine who's a Jew wrote these blessings down for me, and I just put them to memory.
Start that.
Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech ha'olam borei peri gafen amen.
Well, several years ago, as our children started to get older and Cody started thinking about how he wanted to raise them, he felt like it was more important to observe a lot of the traditions that Jesus observed in the Bible. And Jesus was Jewish, he was of Israel, and they observed a kosher diet. And so he really felt like it was important to bring that part of our spirituality into our family life. You know, it's not really part of our religious doctrine, but it is something that Cody likes to follow because it makes him feel closer to Christ.
I will just go hungry.
Well, there's gonna be other food besides pork, honey.
Yeah, poi. Yeah, I'll skip that too.
I don't know. Are you gonna hula dance, Cody?
I don't know. Teach me to hula, maybe I can hula. As long as I don't have to eat pork or poi.
I really hope they bring pork. I haven't tasted pork in a long time. I really, really, really want some.
So, yeah, we're having a luau tomorrow. I guess it's going to be really authentic.
I'd be really excited for that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, no.
Can I have an appointment and not be there?
What's wrong with you being there?
Oh, I don't want to be offended because I won't eat pork.
Well, go eat.
Well, what's wrong with you not eating pork and still being there?
Yeah, nobody asked my permission about this. Everybody piss off.
Wow.
I did a bar mitzvah for Logan, okay? We're not Jewish, but I love their traditions. I had a bar mitzvah for Logan. This isn't traditional for fundamentalist Mormons. I just happen to have a very dear friend who is Jewish, and he had some influence on my life, you know?
Yeah.
Cody needs to stop using the excuse that doing these activities helps him be more in line with God or it helps him grow closer to Jesus, because clearly he is not Christ-like at all. He isn't meek. He's very dishonest. He's not a good person.
No, he isn't. When I see people doing this extremely superficial connection to religious stuff in the past, it usually just makes me think that these people don't have a solid grip on the religion in general, so they're just
grasping at straws?
Yes. It's weird.
Marty's here.
Yay, Morty. What I was saying is a lot can be said about the slow and gradual separation between Christianity from Judaism, and combining that with the weird interpretation that Mormons typically have of that separation, it's very clear how somebody like Cody could infer these weird connections. I mean, growing up Mormon, there was all the time people would be spouting this kind of weird nonsense about holidays and about the real doctrine and all that kind of stuff. And I'm very certain that Cody's family adopted polygamy because of that weird tendency in Mormonism for people to overanalyze stuff, especially when there is no consistency, because it was basically just a guy making it up in his house in Palmyra, New York. And it can cause people to see patterns that don't exist and come to conclusions that aren't founded. Cody is fitting that to a T.
Oh, you can offend any Mormons out there.
Mormons that really do know about the specific doctrines of their religion will say that there are strange inconsistencies about stuff like that. Like, I don't want to turn this into a theocracy podcast, but Mormonism views the separation of Christianity from Judaism as an apostasy. So they believe that in order for Christianity to be as Christian as possible, it has to basically be Judaism again. So they see any type of force causing Christianity to be its own thing as being an outward worldly thing.
I thought Mormons wanted to be more in line with Christians.
Well, I mean, they do. They do. They're constantly trying to be like, hey, guess what? We're actually Christians. And all the mainstream Christian groups kind of just side-eye them and say, sure, that's fine. Or outwardly are negative towards that. But it's weird. It's super weird. I don't even know whether or not we're going to include this, but yeah.
I want to include it.
Anyway, yes. So it's really awkward, and Cody's behavior appears bizarre by normal standards, but I've encountered people, even in mainstream Mormonism, that were about as crazy as this.
I haven't encountered anyone that crazy.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a lightning rod for crazies.
Meri says that when her husband decided to do away with Easter, it didn't really affect her. She says that as a child, her own parents never really made efforts to observe it. We get more examples of ways in which Robyn was exceptional when she entered into the family. Aside from reinstating Christmas, Valentine's Day, and earrings, she also restored Easter as a Brown family tradition. When April 2010 rolled around, Robyn brought up the fact that she wanted her kids to participate in Easter activities. Upon hearing that it had been canceled, she basically threatened Cody of taking Dayton, Aurora, and Brianna down to her mother's to celebrate it there. This spurred the man, who didn't want Robyn to leave, to make this filthy pagan holiday a tradition again. At this point, I think Robyn was living in Lehi, and her mother, I assume, was living either in southern Utah or Montana. So Robyn would have been gone for at least a weekend to make that trip count. And Cody didn't like that.
I wonder whether or not the other sister wives were even capable of pulling off a threat like that.
No, because, again, Janelle and Christine asked to be part of his family. They forced him to marry them.
I mean, would they even have cars to travel that far?
Yeah, I know they have a really run-down jalopy that I don't think could have even made it 5 hours.
Robyn is able to make these threats because she has more freedom than the other wives?
Maybe.
And it's probably just because Cody loved her more.
We'll get into it later, what Christine says about that. Cody decided to make a compromise with the favored wife. They created a new family tradition that was a hybrid of both Passover and Easter. Christine comments on this holiday shift, saying that when Robyn came into the big picture, there was a lot of things that were introduced. She gives her ex-sister wife a lot of kudos, saying that many of those changes were positive overall. However, the fact that they happened was because of Cody wanting to indulge Robyn. Miss Polygamy expert Robyn explains that this is commonplace when a new woman marries into a prefab family. Some things just gotta move. She does, however, admit that, at least for her, Cody did acquiesce to her opinions more so than any of his previous wives. She goes, I don't know why it was different. Christine straight up just gives us the answer. It was because Cody was infatuated with her, therefore Robyn had more sway. This made it very easy for the manipulative woman to convince her new husband to adapt his family to her traditions and not the other way around. So we were talking about this during the episode where Cody likes to spout that Robyn is so loyal, she can do no wrong, but I think Cody is way more loyal to Robyn than she is to him.
Definitely. Cody doesn't want to kick Meri to the curb because he's so loyal to Robyn. If Robyn was loyal to Cody, then she would approve of the kicking of Meri because she'd be loyal. But no, Robyn isn't loyal. Cody is just more loyal to her. He respects her more. And it's fascinating that he's simping for her so hard that it's causing the universe to warp around him and creating this illusion bubble. It's annoying.
Cody's just straight up delusional. Christine adds that her reasoning to start celebrating Easter now is because it's an act of defiance. This reminds me in the previous episode when she was telling us about her ideal man. She wanted him to be bald, have tattoos, and drives his own motorcycle because her sexual preference at that point was not Cody.
Anti-Cody.
She's putting this activity together because it was forbidden by her ex. She cheerily states that this is the period in her life where she's reinstating everything that was taken from her during her miserable marriage.
Good for her.
The Easter gathering is starting to commence. Janelle and Savannah have met up at Christine's house. I noticed in the shot Janelle's eyebrows are oddly much darker than they usually are. It gave me flashbacks to when she, Brianna, and Meri did that prank on Leon back in season 11. Janelle informs us that the last time she met up with Christine's part of the family was back at Garrison's house, which I'm assuming was around March, so it's now a few weeks since then. The children are dipping their boiled eggs into some vinegar water mixed with dye as they partake in these pagan festivities. Truly is wearing a shirt depicting 3 witches dancing around a coffee decanter with the words "Witch's Brew" on it.
We've got paganism at home type of thing.
Even before it was banned in the Brown household, Janelle thought that Easter was a pagan holiday.
Yes.
We segue into what's going on in Janelle's and Cody's relationship. The very lazy man illuminates the viewers as to why he and his second wife might never heal or fix their marriage. It's because he doesn't want to. He doesn't have a need to build bonds with his other kids or families since he has his picturesque, loyal family unit comprised of just Robyn and her children. They are all he needs to lavish his affection on, and he is okay with that. Janelle says that it is important to carry on these new traditions after the turmoil that had transpired in the family. Making these new memories enables all of them to propel forward into the future with new identities. Of course, the misogynistic Jack gripes that this idea Christine and Janelle have come up with is stupid. He goes, "An identity without their dad? This is all a conspiracy to separate me from my children. Even though I just said in the last episode I didn't want to be around those jerks."
Yes. This guy is so backward.
The main event is about to start. As the kids start retrieving their Easter baskets, Christine reminds them that there is a limit of 5 hard-boiled eggs and 5 plastic eggs per individual to find. After all of them have been collected, everyone sits together on a picnic blanket, assessing how much money they managed to get. We learn more of how dexterous Mitch is. He juggles some eggs in the air, and Gwendolyn brings up the fact that her brother-in-law does ride a unicycle. The last time we heard about Mitch's unicycle was back in season 13.
You have a unicycle? So I have a unicycle that I brought with me. Aspen's been pestering me to ride it for her. These can go in the trailer. That's going in the trailer. Because it's broken.
He has a unicycle? Yeah, he has a unicycle, and apparently he can ride it.
You didn't see it?
No, it's broken. He didn't ride it today. I think it's conveniently broken. It might not even be broken, but he
Maybe
wants
Mitch
to ride it
doesn't
today.
actually know how to ride it.
I don't think he would have a unicycle if he didn't know how to ride it. This is Mitch.
I like Mitch. He seems pretty quirky and fun. Now we just need him to juggle and ride a unicycle like they do in circus camp.
I said that's probably asking a little much.
Why?
I don't know. I have no idea how riding a unicycle works. It's like an arcane act, as far as I'm concerned. Like, how the hell?
Yeah, I don't know how unicycles function. Christine once again reiterates that before she chose to sever things from Cody, any family meetup with him and his favorite wife's family was nothing but anxiety. This new Easter tradition has set a precedent that functions can be calm and enjoyable. This lighthearted interaction is then interrupted by some somber background music as we head over to the She-Ra Chateau. Robyn does a voiceover saying that she is in a process of mourning every time she tries to plan a holiday. This woman who didn't even bother calling Meri for Passover/Resurrection Sunday dinner whines that her heart is hurting because no one is getting together.
My eyes are going to strain themselves from all the rolling.
Meri backs this up, saying that there was no invitation from her sister wife or their husband. Meri felt awkward, so she didn't want to remind them nor invite herself over to their house during that time. Despite their usual aloof conduct, the very lonely woman claims she was happy as a clam, being by herself, doing her own thing.
Which I totally believe. I think she likes to complain and receive sympathy for being by herself, but in reality, I think she just likes to be by herself.
Meri is most comfortable when she is hearing the echo of her own voice. We are subjected to the part of the episode that has been recurrent for about 8 episodes. Meri and Jeff are still capering about in Parowan. They show us the much emptier carriage house. As Meri self-films, Jen receives a phone call from one of the contractors who are about to renovate the building. Jen playfully passes on the message that the contractor is asking if he can do one of her holes. This incites some hysterical laughter from her friend.
Meri married so young that she never had a period of time where she was allowed to make dumb jokes about holes.
Good on you, Meri. Meri again contrasts her non-existent familial relationships to the one with Jen.
Jen or Jeff?
Either or. The lack of a bond is due to Meri's inability to trust those very people. So I'm going to bring up this clip from the last tell-all.
For Meri, to be fair, she feels betrayed by you. She's using these really strong words. Why do you think she thinks that way?
Because I ended the friendship. I ended the relationship. I did. I ended it. It wasn't safe for me anymore. And I ended it. And I just told her straight up, no, we're not going to be friends because I don't trust you. And I'm not going to do that to myself anymore.
So when you closed the door, did it stay that way forever?
For me, yeah. We tried a little bit here and there in Vegas, but her treatment of me wasn't nice. She wouldn't be nice to me. She was just putting me down a lot in public situations, like especially if like her family was there. She would just put me down too. And you can put me down as much as you want. You can't, as much as you want after a while. But then when I hit my wall, I'm done.
And you didn't feel like she was something that you wanted to fight for?
No, because then sure she would be nice for a while, but then she would just come out again. And I just never knew who to expect. And it was just too stressful.
Yeah.
I'm also going to bring this up. I found this in a Facebook group. It's Janelle's excerpt from their book, which is in the sorority chapters.
Cody, of course, was beyond excited at the thought of becoming a father, but our happiness did little to smooth over the tensions in the household. During my pregnancy, relations between Meri and me reached an all-time low. I was physically exhausted and sick, which weakened my ability to put up with Meri's snide remarks and jabs. While she never overtly made me feel unwelcome in the house, I rarely ventured out into the rest of the home. I felt completely disenfranchised, even though I was carrying Cody's child. Just before one of those trips when I was being left behind once more, my pregnancy hormones were making me feel especially vulnerable. Cody had taken a new job logging on a mountain, and I was upset to learn that he was again taking Meri with him. Meri took advantage of the situation to be exceptionally brutal. One of my friends and I had experimented with my makeup. As I was crying that I was being left behind, Meri began to ridicule the makeup I was wearing. This was the final straw after all the passive-aggressive behavior and snide remarks I had been dealing with for so many months. I completely lost it. I felt as if I was on the verge of a complete nervous breakdown. Cody was on his way out the door when I stopped him. There were tears running down my face.
There's a reason that no one in the family trusts her. In the past, Meri has been a mean person, and I don't think she's realizing how much distress those very family members have been put through due to her. Even many of the adult kids say they were emotionally, if not physically, harmed by Meri. But Meri is making it seem in this episode that distrust has been misplaced.
I mean, it's very similar to the way that Cody constantly blames other people for the things that he's doing to them.
Cody and Meri are the same person. Speaking of distrust, Cody repeats that he is barely in a friendship to that woman. It's distant. He hardly sees her. He doesn't know what to make of an eternal covenant to a person he despises. There's your answer, Cody. Just do your own thing. Forget about Robyn or your ego for once in your life and let Meri go.
That would require Cody to be a man.
He's never been a man before. He's not going to start now.
He only does the easy things.
A man who doesn't hate Meri is Sean Sullivan.
Jen's husband will do favors for his wife's besties, such as washing her car without being prompted. Meri has to clarify that there will be no threesomes, nor any sort of romantic interaction with Jen or her husband. She nervously laughs at the thought.
And all of our eyes glazed over, and we became even less interested in this storyline.
We get a montage of filler, flashbacks from 2 episodes ago, when Cody said Meri's actions had no effect on his life, and some wide shots of Meri's house. One pushing towards the right, and the exact one, but in the reverse direction. God, they have nothing this episode.
They have nothing. They have nothing most episodes.
On the subject of repetitive footage, we get Robyn and Cody pretending to do some yard work for the cameras. Cody has sheared some pine branches down, whilst Robyn is erratically snipping a houseplant. I don't think she knows what she's doing.
No, I thought so too. She has this enormous garbage bag full of trimmings that led me to believe that she never does this. But she thought, oh, this will be good for the camera.
Because she's wearing that same snakeskin patterned shirt that she wore during her confessional, I'm just thinking to myself, immediately after her interviews, she probably just went straight to her house, full makeup and hair, with the film crew behind her, and pretended to do some chores. This is like the weed whacker scene all over again.
Nobody believes that Robyn does any of these things, and we certainly know that she doesn't do them when she's completely dolled up in her stupid banana curls. That's not what people look like when they're trimming their plants.
It's performative AF. Someone who needs to be whacked is Cody. Despite Robyn's persistent attempts to convince him to mend his broken relationships, he discloses that he can't because he is not in the mood to do that. He goes, I don't like when I'm around them. There's no flicker. There's no flame. What am I supposed to do?
You're supposed to denounce them?
Denounce them?
Yeah, get rid of them. They're not my wife no more.
That's a start. But don't disown your kids, Cody. You should always be trying to build up those relationships. Cody then says some pretty damning things. In one sentence, he describes what his status is as a floundering polygamist. He tells us that Robyn is the love of his life, but he feels weird about it since he's got these other annoying situations that he has to eventually attend to.
Situations?
What an upstanding man. Imagine your partner describing you as a situation.
Oh my gosh, this man, he's just peak manhood. This man needs to remove himself from the situation in order for this to get better, I guess.
He already has, at least for Meri. But again, this guy needs to tell it in words.
He has to indicate precisely what he wants to communicate. And if this family thinks that Robyn is their best communicator, then guess what? They're in the shithole.
Nobody in this family actually talks about how they feel. Everyone is just so repressed. Cody finally stops beating around the bush. He asserts that he doesn't want to patch things up with Janelle because that would take some level of honesty. He doesn't want to be sincere with her since he believes Janelle is just going to vent all of their conversations back to Christine, who will then talk him to the kids. He's trying to say unless Janelle and Christine aren't friends anymore, he is not going to rebuild his marriage with her.
Oh my gosh. I don't like Cody as a person.
Yeah?
No. I think he's just bottom tier person. He's so lazy. He's so self-centered. He never wants to do anything unless it's easy and he's in the mood for it. He never does anything for anyone other than himself or Robyn. And he's just a little worm man.
A wormy worm man. Speaking of the two besties, we get another get-together between them and their kids, but back in Flagstaff. It is now July. Christine felt bad that Garrison and Gabe missed out on the festivities, so she has decided to rent an Airbnb to host another dinner. This time, Christine has also brought Isabel and Truly. The two moms and 6 kids, by the way, Gwen is here as well, partake in some homemade lasagna and garlic bread. Even though it is the middle of summer, we of course have to get the inevitable subject of every discussion that happens on this show. What are we doing for the holidays?
Do they really think that we care even slightly?
It's just so repetitive.
It wasn't good television the first time.
Janelle tries to intimate to her sons that they are more than welcome to have some sort of Christmas or Thanksgiving with the family members that are already in town. Garrison rejects that notion, saying he'd rather meet everyone up in Utah since Flagstaff holidays are so boring. Christine translates her bonus sons' thoughts. She explains that Garrison and Gabe are still hurting over their broken relationship with their dad.
Yeah, I know, obvious.
Cody excuses himself, saying that Janelle is out of sight, out of mind for him, since she decided to be compliant with Gabriel and Garrison.
Compliant, like a dog.
Is he saying that because his sons are men and women need to be submissive to men? That's an odd choice of words.
Yeah, it definitely feels like he thinks that when a woman agrees with a man, then she's being compliant.
The douche canoe continues his monologue, saying that he did nothing wrong. In fact, he did right by them by trying to hold them accountable, aka neglect them, their mom, and sister for months at a time. The man who is constantly accusing others of the very things he is doing then gives us the line of the episode. Accountability is something that Janelle and Christine do not know anything about.
Yes, because they've never seen it adequately personified by a person.
Cody, you are the least accountable piece of sludge on this dirt ball.
Oh my goodness. Seriously, though. My brain feels like it's going to short circuit listening to this man talk because he's just so obnoxious.
As if on cue, Garrison explains an example of how his father shirks accountability. He reached out to him, saying that he wants to make peace, but the point of reconciliation would have to be at Garrison's house. The egotistic maniac unsurprisingly rejected that idea, saying that everyone who wants to make peace towards him has to move their ass to his castle, where all his loyal subjects live. The man who doesn't want to meet his children on neutral ground is the same one who complains that all of them have blocked him.
Yes, it doesn't make any sense, especially since a polygamist man like Cody isn't supposed to have a house. This is Robyn's house, not your house, Cody.
When did that change occur?
Because he used to be pretty adamant about it.
Christine explains that she hasn't seen any of these loyal subjects in a long while. The last time she laid eyes on Meri was during Isabel's graduation party, and the last time she's seen Robyn was at the awkward send-off McKelty forced them to attend well over a year ago. Janelle expresses a similar experience, saying she hasn't seen Robyn nor Meri in over 6 months. Some people who definitely haven't seen Meri in many months are Robyn's children. Their mom has taken Saul and Ari to play in Meri's backyard, with Aurora tagging along on this wonderful spring day. We are, again, going backwards in the timeline. Meri loves Robyn's children because they love her unconditionally. Yeah, they love you unconditionally probably because they weren't around during the period when you used to treat kids poorly.
Yes.
So, I had this thought when I was watching the episode. Meri wants to desperately be a mom to many kids, but she doesn't want the inconveniences of having a dirty house or scuffed up furniture. That typically comes along with having kids. Then we have Robyn, who wants to be friends with Meri without actually inviting her to anything. She wants Meri to stay in Flagstaff, but she also doesn't want to be involved in Meri's life. And finally, you get Janelle, who keeps complaining that she doesn't have a husband. Cody's absent all the time, but then she'll do a 180 and say that she's fine with their situation, but doesn't want to actually get divorced from him since there's no instigating event. So I'm thinking Meri wants children without actually having children. Robyn wants friendships without actually having friends. And Janelle wants a husband without actually having the husband. There is something wrong with these 3 women.
Yes, and that thing is named Cody.
Anyways, back to the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
Robyn describes her 2 youngest as temperaments. They're opposites. Basically, Ari takes after her father, who is an outgoing, fun-loving extrovert, while Saul is more like his mom, who is reserved with his thoughts. I wouldn't really... Saul might be more shy. I don't know if he takes after his mom, because I wouldn't describe Robyn as shy. She tends not to speak everything out loud because she's trying to manipulate the people in front of her.
She's very intentional.
Meri claims that her broken sham of a marriage to Cody is worth the 20 minutes of interaction she gets to spend with Robyn's kids.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, why would she walk away from him? I don't know, Meri. It's really, really nice to have a husband who cares about you. No amount of playtime with any amount of children, no matter how much they adore me, is justifiable enough to stay with a man who loathes my very being.
Besides, you don't have to be married to Cody to be able to be neighbors with some friends that have some kids.
Mm-hmm. Again, this is a pattern we see in these polygamist women who keep saying that they want certain things, these perks that can easily be obtained by just having friendships with other people.
Mm-hmm. I think of the line, when all you have is a hammer, all your problems look like nails. When the only power a woman has is marriage and having children, suddenly all of your problems are solved by marriage and being a polygamist.
Mm-hmm. It's just obnoxious.
Yes.
We are back in summer at the very tall rental. Janelle and Christine brew some tea to prep for some metaphorical tea to be spilt. The ex-polygamist woman informs her friend that she, Isabel, and Truly will be staying in Flagstaff for about a week during this month of July. At this point, Cody has been a deadbeat to Janelle and her kids. Christine asks her friend if this was common behavior during the time Janelle lived in an RV. The second wife only half confirms that assumption. She said that Cody did show up on the days he was supposed to, but never earlier than 7 in the evenings. So, no, he spends barely an hour with you and Savannah. He's still Janelle.
Her bar for how she rates father figures is so low.
It's basically in the mud. The reason for Cody's lack of parenting was because he had to go do that for the tenders. In other words, he had to help Saul and Ari for school, so he couldn't afford medium stretches of time with his very low-maintenance wife and Savannah. Christine is appalled by her ex's behavior. In her couch confessional, she relays that Cody did the same thing to her household, where he would ditch the struggling mom to go take care of his favorite children at his loyal wife's house.
I'm sure he had a good reason, though, right?
Yeah, because it was easy. We'll get into that. So this confession reminded me of this clip from season 13.
Are you excited to stay here with the kids alone for a while?
Well, I'm excited because I'll get a lot of things done not having conversations with wives.
You can go ahead and be happy to not have the conversations with wives. Well, that's great. We're going to go have a great time not having conversations with him.
So Truly in the morning, she has to have her lunch packed because she doesn't have school lunch.
Now, does Peyton know how to do that?
Peyton can have her lunch.
Because as soon as I got her up, I'm normally going to go over and also help with Saul, so I'll be back and forth.
That's great. Peyton will be here too, so her lunch needs to be packed. She needs a book to read at Kimberly's house. Are you right here?
No, I'm not. I'm still...
Okay, I'll wait till you're done. So I know there's a visual confirmation in your eyeballs. Cody doesn't do everything, like take care of all of the kids. He doesn't. We all take care of them and he'll help, but he doesn't do it all. Okay, Gwendolyn has play practice every day.
Yeah, no, so somebody's got to pick her up.
To like 5 or 6 usually is when play practice gets out.
Okay.
And that's every day she has to play practice.
Every day.
I'm giving him details, but please understand I've been giving him these details for 3 days. It has to sink in today. Yeah, you're going to have like 3 days where you get some stuff done.
I'm going to get some stuff done.
Yeah, I'm going to come back to a really clean garage and really organized stuff.
Yeah. Hi. Hey, Daddy. Hi, Pokes. Kisses? Kisses. Am I too fuzzy? You want to feel my fuzzy?
I think it's no sweat, Cody, taking care of your kids and stuff like that. He does a great job. That's my experience.
Are you about ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
He knows how to get Saul ready for school. He knows how to take him to school. He knows how to manage Ariella. He knows how to feed her, give her a bath. She eats better for him than she does for me.
She's usually wrestling her from the time that I'm putting Solomon to bed.
Mindy's there too.
So what I'll do is I'll get Solomon to bed about 9:30 when he's finally asleep. And once he seems fairly sound, I'll come out and help you wrestle her.
I mean, as long as he's sure they're safe. He really, truly only has like 3 little kids to sit there and kind of help manage.
After I've just made sure everybody's in bed, I'll come back and just spend some time with her. She's usually pretty feisty at about 10 o'clock. Her witching hour is from 10 to midnight.
Well, this is the first time I'll be leaving Ari overnight. Are you excited?
So in the scene, Christine and the wives are preparing to go on a trip to Seattle.
For 3 days, Christina's been telling messages to Cody
on how he should parent their children whilst she's away. Whilst she's doing this, he's already checked out, probably texting Robyn on his phone. He then has the gall to say things like, I don't know if I can do that, because the times when I'd have to pick up Gwen from play rehearsal or pack Truly's lunch is the time I'm supposed to help Ari and Saul get to school, the time when I'm supposed to give them a bath, the time I'm supposed to feed them or tuck them into bed. Then we immediately cut to Cody being super dad, but exclusively with Robyn's kids. It's really wild to watch these undeniable examples of favoritism in the context of the most recent episodes.
It causes my brain to short circuit just thinking about Cody.
It's so obvious that he loves some of his children and not others, but when people usually have that stance, they hide it a lot better, and Cody is just being so explicit in his
conviction.
Christine says that it is selfish for a sister wife to steal the time of the wife her husband is currently at. She wonders why wasn't their nanny capable of taking care of the kids in Cody's absence. Likewise, Janelle also discloses how very little help she received from Cody. She had gotten so little support from her spouse that her eldest had to take on those fatherly responsibilities himself. Every morning it was Logan who had to put together breakfast as well as get his younger siblings ready for school.
Which Janelle kind of brushes it off almost like a joke, but I'm thinking...
yeah, that wasn't supposed to have happened. We get the Jack's very poor excuse on the couch. The reason Cody was able to find the energy and time to take care of Saul and Ari more so than any of his other children was because he wanted to. He tries to justify his current behavior. In the past, he couldn't be an upstanding father since he was working so hard to make ends meet. Now in these recent years, he is able to babysit his two youngest in a manner he has just never been able to do before. This is bull. Because in that season 13 clip, he had the opportunity to parent his children during the cul-de-sac years as devotedly as he is doing right now. He flat out didn't want to do that since he just wanted to spend all his time at Robyn's. They probably had the same financial means during the Las Vegas Golden Age as they do right now.
If not more.
So for Cody to say it was a matter of money as an excuse for his lack of parenting is a lie.
This is just another example of Cody coming up with an explanation that he thinks is going to exonerate him, but only damns him. He's like, I didn't do that because I didn't want to. And that's the reason. And you're just like,
now we understand.
We understand. Bravo. Don't you know? That's how you know you're a good father, because you only do the things you want to do. That's peak masculinity. I'm just going to do the things that I want to do. Who cares about responsibility, obligations, promises? Well, what's the churchy word they use for promises? Covenants. You do the things that you don't like doing. That's what it means to be in a relationship. If you're in a relationship and you only ever do the things that you want to do, then you're not really in a relationship. You're
just forcing another person to placate you all the time?
Exactly. Human dynamics, exchanges. Our entire society is based on doing things that you're not in the mood to do. That's like me going to Taco Bell saying, hey, I want a grande burrito, and them giving it to me and saying, okay, where's the money? Well, I'm not in the mood to pay the money. Just give me the thing.
These interactions are the basis of how the world spins, except for Cody, who only goes by what he's in the mood for.
And in the end, he thinks that that is going to get everybody on his side. Oh my goodness, this man is delusional.
Cody then claims that
I was actually taking Ariella and Solomon to school because I liked it. And now that I have a chance to do this with Solomon and Ari, it's like this, it's like this second chance. But Robyn never asked me to do it.
Robyn agrees and says,
I'd be like, I think it's going to create problems. When I would bring it up to him, he'd just like, stop it. Like, this is what I want to do.
Even though we have footage from past seasons of Janelle saying,
when I first saw how Robyn ran your relationship with Cody, I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, playing the helpless damsel and wanting Cody to do these things for you. And I'm like, oh my God.
Even
and Robyn claims that
Kody is always helping.
I get headaches watching these two say anything in their confessional because anyone can easily dispute their bogus lies just going back and watching their effing show. Christine then sums up these two imbeciles' behavior. Robyn is a bad sister wife since she monopolized Kody's time, and Kody is a terrible husband for allowing it to happen. The man who is constantly pointing a finger to everyone then points his finger back at Christine, saying she was in fact the worst sister wife since she has taken his children away from their father. Again, Robyn should also be considered a bad sister wife since she took Preston's kids away from him and made him sign over his rights to another person. Moreover, Kody has a number of children living in the same area as him, and he expects all of them to either call him or come to his house to make peace. Kody, you don't care if your children are taken away from you.
No, he doesn't, because if you cared, you'd fight for them, but you don't, so you don't. He's such a
This mother continues villainizing Christine, saying that she is because of how disloyal she was, and Robyn is beyond reproach because of how obedient and compliant she is to him. Again, Kody is the one who is beyond loyal to Robyn. Janelle lets her curious sister wife know that her birthday went off without a hitch. This uneventful date is confirmation that she should continue staying separated from her husband. After the date ran its course, Kody continued to ignore Janelle such that she hasn't heard from him in the 2 weeks following her birthday. As Janelle recounts their platonic outing, Christine is very upset on her friend's behalf. She goes, "Just call it how it is and move out of Flagstaff." The discourse continues, but this time, Janelle senses sympathy on Christine's end. The second wife tries to make clear that she is perfectly content in her and her children's neglect. She tells the producers a paradox. No, I'm fine. There are no prospects to reconcile or hope that Kody will come around, but I will also not settle for less than I deserve. So it's just wild to me that I'm getting a vibe from Christine that what I have is inadequate. Don't give me that.
Oh my gosh.
That could have been an animation in and of itself since her very line was just so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like watching people play Pong. It's like boom, 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 back and forth, and Christine's just going like this.
The exasperated friend gets the hint and moves on.
I'm gonna make no headway here.
She asks Janelle her opinion of a potential family reunion, if it were one, not to be held during a major holiday, and two, if it would occur for no more than once a year. Their reunion would include the other three parents. Janelle is open to that, and as it turns out, Meri is also open. But guess who isn't keen on the family getting together?
I've got a 50% chance of getting it right.
Robyn and Kody.
Okay.
Just like during Christmas, Robyn claims that getting the family in one place isn't a good idea, since that is just asking for a fight. These two people are constantly whining that their big picture was ripped away from them, and at the first opportunity to have all of them under one roof, they are adamantly against it.
It's not important for them to be together as a family. What's important to them is that they feel safe and that nobody criticizes them or calls them out on their bull.
That might be true because they probably don't want everyone to meet together since Robyn's kids are going to find out that they've been lied to by their own parents.
I hadn't even considered that.
So they might call out Robyn and Kody on their bull.
Everything would just implode. Like a avalanche.
We revert to the dialogue going on in Meri's backyard. Robyn nonchalantly mentions that Aurora has been regularly visiting a guy that she met on the NAU campus.
Are we going to see anything more interesting than that statement?
No.
Okay.
We are reminded that Aurora is in fact a 20-year-old woman, not 8, as the ear-piercing episode would lead you to believe. As the young woman watches her siblings cavort on the playground, we get more details about this young man. He has apparently already met her parents. He enjoys discussing space movies with Aurora, who, according to her Instagram profile, is majoring in astronomy.
Okay.
I wonder what those space movies are.
I mean, it's not like we don't have enough movies that have the word star in them.
In not so many words, Meri asked the blushing girl if they reached first base. Aurora bashfully denies that supposition. She enjoys flirting with this guy friend a lot, but it stops there.
She's never even played baseball.
Because Meri was like, you talk? Is that all you do? She's trying to ask if she kissed him or...
Meri sounds like she's down bad. She wants deets.
Mm-hmm. The 20-year-old then gives some background info on him. He is from out of state, but is studying at the university, which I guess is similar to Dayton, since when they moved to Arizona, he technically didn't achieve residency, since they weren't living in Flagstaff long enough when he started attending NAU. Robyn affirms that Aurora is a good girl due to her old-fashioned values her mom has instilled into her. The old-fashioned values of being chaste until marriage. Meri and Robyn then tell the already very anxious young woman that both of them had to grow up very quickly by the time they reached her age. This was due to their very religious upbringing, which encouraged marriage and babies as soon as possible.
Yeah, they're like, it's super easy to be super chaste when by 19 you already have a baby inside of you, so... Both of them had already had sex by the time they were her age.
Oh.
So they weren't having to worry about...
being
chaste. They'd long since stopped being worried about being chaste.
I think that's why people get married so young.
Yeah, they're horny as
She and Cody were married at 19 and 22, respectively. Unlike Cody, the nostalgic woman doesn't regret her choice of spouse. Rather, she bemoans their extremely short 3-month engagement that led up to their wedding. If second chances were a thing, she would have taken the time to get to know herself a little bit more.
That's sad.
She reveals that the pressure to settle down and start a family in her early 20s prevented her from going to school and finding out what she really wanted to do with her life.
It was selling leggings.
In Parowan.
It's every girl's dream.
As the conversation winds down, we get news that the last 5 episodes or so of Meri insisting to Robyn that she would, in fact, be moving to a smaller house within town was all for naught, since, surprise, Meri has renewed her lease and is not changing houses after all.
Good news, Robyn. I caved.
She will be staying in her exact same rental, so nothing will continue to happen.
This show.
Cody belabors the point that Meri has next to zero involvement with him, Robyn, or their children, so he is not at all affected, whether she stays in her big house, moves to a smaller one, or straight up changes residencies to Utah.
I thought you were going to say straight up dies.
Oh, God. Yeah, he couldn't give a
Nope.
But don't feel sorry for the rejected woman just yet. She says, I will take any family experience that comes my way, even the ones that are imaginary, because this is what I signed up for.
I'm sure that if we went back in time and we asked Meri, did you sign up to be a spinster by yourself in the middle of nowhere, just eating the table scraps of another relationship?
She would say, heck no!
Exactly. She would even say heck no, because she'd be so Mormon that she can't say hell yet.
Someone who couldn't tolerate these imaginary family experiences was Christine. She says the way in which her spouse and sister wives lived polygamy was unsustainable. In the same way Janelle admits to these struggles that existed between the sister wives. She and Robyn never had a one-on-one relationship, but were functional in terms of giving the family what they needed. Which I don't think is entirely true, since obviously Robyn cheated her sister wives out of a lot of time with their husband. Janelle also wasn't able to form decent relations with Meri due to personality conflicts and previous arguments. The second wife restates that she is still looking for some sort of drama on Cody's end or a sign from God that she indeed needs to leave her husband's butt for good.
But she loves that so much.
That's true. She wonders if the fact that she wants something different gives her the permission to take control of her life. It does, Janelle. And even if you didn't want that change, you could have still done whatever you wanted because it's your life.
Well, no, it belongs to her husband and her God.
Oh, God. At this point in the episode, Tim made a metaphor, which I thought was very funny. So we play a lot of D&D, and in D&D, there are 4 classes that were based on the Golden Girls.
Well, they were the first 4 classes.
Yeah, the first 4 classes. They are a fighter, a wizard,
a cleric,
and a thief. And then Tim asked me, which class do you think each of the wives belong to? And I said, well, that's easy. Let's get the easy one out of the way.
Robyn is the thief.
Easy.
Janelle is the cleric because of her strong belief in this religion. Meri is the fighter because she can move a fridge on her back. And Christine is the quirky mage / wizard.
Yes, because you know that she would rock a robe and a hat with stars on it.
Yes. So, anyways.
Yes, idle thought.
I digress. Christine takes Janelle's indecision as a signal to empathize with her. She says that when she broke things off with Cody, he pretty much behaved as he always had. He wasn't heartbroken over his loss, instead just getting more irate and angry at the family who stayed behind. The logical wife then gets demoted to unreasonable wife with her next line. Janelle believes that her dwindling marriage looks different from Christine's, since her separation to Cody was very amiable. In her confessional, the ex-third wife makes this face to the camera. You call that amiable? I saw the footage of that fight.
You should have said that to Janelle's face, Christine.
Janelle understands that that argument was a pivotal point in the degradation of their marriage. Nevertheless, she still needs the both of them to be functional when necessary. I think she's trying to say she needs to placate Cody until she's given the equity that belongs to her. Because if they are on bad footing, there's no way Cody is going to divvy up any version of alimony because there's no law that requires him to do that.
He has no honor. He has no...
Scruples? Morals?
Yeah, he has no morals. He feels no obligation to these women. He will screw them over without a second's thought. He is just the worst kind of person.
Cody's a jackass.
The second wife repeats her stance that any likelihood of remarrying would have to be within their faith. If she isn't going to be married to Cody, she at least wants the celestial blessings that come with a plural marriage. She didn't mention the blessings, but I'm assuming that's her end goal since she spoke pretty highly of wanting to get back within her church circle.
She's still all the way in on this religion of theirs. She is drinking the Kool-Aid. She's drinking other people's Kool-Aid. She's just still obsessed about this cult of theirs.
We get some comedic music as Christine looks at her in disbelief. She goes, "Really? So what do you like about plural marriage?" The illogical wife rehashes her need for independence. She then says something hilarious. She says that if she were to find another man, an unshakable feeling has to overtake her in the same way many years ago when she felt the prompting to marry Cody. She goes, "Oh my gosh, you need to marry him. You know this guy." I'm thinking, well, duh, Janelle, that guy was your brother-in-law. You should have known him.
You knew him full well.
Christine claims that if she found her soulmate in a man with multiple wives, she would not go forward in a courtship to him due to understanding how much heartbreak those wives would have to endure. Which I guess is a lesson learned in hindsight because one can argue she did exactly that to Meri and Janelle. She wanted to be the cute, fun one.
I mean, I've said this before that Christine is also a failed Robyn, but she did try harder than Robyn, though.
Christine's just not Machiavellian enough. The exasperated friend is kind of done with Janelle talking in circles. She asks the second wife if Cody understands where Janelle is at with him. Janelle outright says that he doesn't care. She further agrees to Christine's point that the thoughtless man is happily married as a monogamist, something Janelle has never admitted to in the past. If Janelle were any other person, maybe she could muster up the emotion to get mad at Cody for shirking his plural responsibilities. But she won't. She just doesn't care.
Again, she says she doesn't care, but then talks about how she really cares about not getting the things she needs. It's kind of like the way that Cody says that he doesn't care what people do or say about him, but he's also super angry and pissed off when they say the things they do about him. I don't believe it. I don't believe that Janelle doesn't care.
Yeah, I think she just chooses to tell herself that she doesn't care because it's less work. Janelle's one stipulation to be in a full marriage to Cody again is for him to fully engage with her as a partner. Which again will never happen since Cody just told us that unless Janelle breaks off her friendship to Christine, he isn't interested in being vulnerable with her. The ex-polygamist woman shakes her head in her interview, saying that Janelle will never be equally considered as long as he's married to Robyn. Christine points out that Cody was her ideal in that he embodied everything she wanted in a husband and father. But in the end, he decided to exclusively be that type of man with just one wife and her kids.
the husband that Robyn has is not the husband that Christine ever had.
Mm-hmm. It would be less painful if we could just see Cody being a deadbeat dad, but he's not, because we see him being such a supportive father to other people.
Yeah, it's gross.
Another obstacle in Janelle giving herself permission to let Cody go is the fact that it is a pain in the butt to get that much needed release from the elders of their church. She thinks twice about her statement, saying that in the end, it might not be necessary since she doesn't even socialize within her church community anymore.
I got the impression that she still thinks it's 100% necessary because she still believes that this is a fundamental thing she would have to do to get divorced. But it didn't make any sense to me because if it's fundamental and it's true and it is inalienable, then why did she not stay in her church?
Yeah, because Christine throughout this conversation is just, well, she didn't say it outright, but she's trying to imply, move to Utah with me, leave Flagstaff. And I think that would benefit Janelle because they'd be back within one of their wards again.
Yeah, like one of the cults that could support her. But it's bizarre to me. She says, I need them to nullify my marriage. But at the same time, she's, but I'm not actually part of their religion anymore. And it's, Janelle, which is it? Do you need their permission or are they not the religion that you believe anymore? That doesn't make any sense. Janelle was really frustrating for me. Like
I said before, she gets downgraded to a lower tier because she just does not make any sense. Christine makes a joke, leading us to believe that the steps to spiritual divorce is long and tedious.
I didn't appreciate this joke, and I'll explain why.
Even after all that work, the marriage is still not dissolved until the woman sleeps with another man. Christine pauses and laughs hysterically. This obviously is alluding to Robyn's ridiculous notion that Christine wasn't officially divorced until she has committed adultery in their church's eyes. When we were watching that in real time, I actually paused the episode in the middle of Christine's sentence, and I was like, I knew it! They do have to consummate their marriage in order to be released from their ex.
Yes, we were in triumph for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then Angie pushes play, and we get the second half, and we're like, we were devastated.
It wasn't true. Thank you, Christine. The episode ends with Christine advocating that Janelle deserves more than a friends with benefits. I'm assuming that benefit is the celestial blessings and exaltation.
Well, it's not that sweet, sweet D, that's for sure.
Because obviously I don't think Cody and Janelle are consummating their marriage vows anymore.
No, of course not. I think it's funny that Janelle would use that phrase. Maybe she doesn't even know what it means.
Yeah. She's like, it's a friend with a benefit. What else could that mean?
Yeah.
Janelle declares that the person Cody has morphed into may have been like this for a good amount of years, but she was oblivious to the change. She conveys that probably during his courtship to his fourth wife, Cody was already waiting for all the rest of them to go away.
Yeah.
Cody wanted a divorce without getting a divorce. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's the fourth one. Meri wants children without actually having children. Robyn wants friends without actually having friends. Janelle wants a husband without actually having a husband. And Cody wanted a divorce without actually having a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Janelle voices a true fact about her husband. He's not pining over the loss of a broken picture unless it involves his ego or it makes him look bad.
Well, guess what? He's been looking bad for nigh on 10 years, or over 10 years, so...
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Christine communicates the closing sentiments, where Janelle hasn't experienced that instigating event, but she is certain it'll happen, and when it does, her friend is gonna know it's time to leave. End of episode.
In this episode, we start off with Cody engaging in a little bit of lighthearted cultural appropriation. We got some Easter stuff, I guess. Then we get to see a dolled up Cody and Robyn as they are doing their lawn work for some reason. We get just a little bit of Meri being awkward about some other woman's husband. And finish it off, we get Christine going through the worst whiplash you've ever seen a woman go through as she listens to Janelle talk about the state of her marriage to Cody.
It's a good summary. Thank you again, Tim.
You're damn welcome.
Thanks for making it to the end. So,
We'll see you in the next episode. Bye!